Hi, my name is Juanita Gregg, and I have a home based licensed sewing business. It's a home based sewing business in my apartment. The reason I'm making this video is because I want to encourage those who are thinking about starting some type of home based business in their home. You don't have to have a big home like I have mine in my apartment, my small apartment, and I believe that it's very successful with the time that I put in. The name of my business is I Love to Sew, and my website is ilovetosew.net. I would like to share with you my journey of what I had to go through in order to get where I am now. Because it was a journey, and it's a journey for everybody or anybody that wants to start a home-based business. Mine is sewing. I was first introduced to sewing when I was 12 years old in junior high school. It was in my home economics class, and we had to learn how to thread a Singer sewing machine. We had to learn how to sew stitches from that sewing machine, and we had to learn various hand stitching in that class. After I graduated from that class, I said, wow, this is really fun. I wanted to continue sewing, but we didn't have a sewing machine in our home. My mother would make our clothes. There was three boys and I was the only girl, but she would make our, clothes by hand. And when I got in high school, I was like 17 years old when I was about to graduate. I took a home economics class. In that class, I had a wonderful teacher, and she taught me, it was sewing, and it was like 5 days a week and 50 minutes per day of those 5 days a week. And she taught me how to use the tape measure, the plastic tape measure, how to measure my body or someone else's body, how to select fabric, how to read a pattern, how to select the right pattern for your body, how to cut out, and how to put it together. And so I made me it was a hot red wool, two-piece wool skirt. And I made it pretty good. It really fit me really nice. So that was the first outfit I ever made when I was 17 years old. After I graduated from high school, I went on to community college, and my family, their money was still low, and so my mother knew that I loved to sew. My younger brother, he enrolled in some contest to win a sewing machine, and he won it, and he gave it to me. So I started making my own clothes, and they were so good that my friends would ask me what store did I buy my clothes from, and I told them that I made my clothes, and they were very fascinated. Um, I had my own bedroom since I was the only girl, so I would um, lay out the fabric and cut it and all that in my bedroom. Then I go to the kitchen table and sew it together. Went When I went to college, I took the sewing machine with me and I continued making a few of my clothes, a lot of them, because that's just something I just love to do. I got married a few years after college, had a family, had 3 children, stayed married it was a good marriage, but it didn't last. We stayed married for a while and we got divorced, and so I became a single parent and I had to take care of 3 small children. So I had to think of some kind of income. So it still wasn't in my mind really to be a professional seamstress. I made up some kind of flyer. We didn't have the computers at that time. I drew some flyers out and put the information that, I had the skill. And if you have any clothes that needed to be altered, please contact me. So I knocked on people's doors in the neighborhood, passed out the flyers. That didn't turn out good at all. I didn't get any customers. Um, Most people in my neighborhood, it was the housing projects, and they just didn't have the money. And so when my children got older, my youngest daughter, she got in high school, I got a good job working at a community college as a senior secretary stenographer for the vice president. So I was in a pretty high prestigious office. I came in contact with a lot of officials, administrators, faculty people, clerical people, and I said, "Wow, this is a good way. I can get some clients to work part time after hours." And so I got on the computer and I started advertising what I could do. And if anybody needed alterations done, please contact me. And so I got a lot of customers for that. Let me backtrack. When I was knocking doors and people were not really responding to me to do work for them, I let the church know that I would take in clothing alterations for different members, various members of the church that needed it. And so I got clients from the church, but I didn't know how to charge people. I undercharged, and I decided to kind of back off because I felt I was being taken advantage of. When I went to the college system and started working, I got clientele from them. I still didn't know how to charge. I was insecure of charging people, and people knew that, and so they would take advantage of me as far as pricing. So I got all this work. I got plenty work, so much work. I didn't have time to sew for myself, to make myself clothes. It was just too stressful, and so with all the work I was getting, plus I had this full-time job. So I realized after calculating everything that I was losing money I was putting out, and the money I was getting in from the clients, I was really losing money. And I felt so bad. So I decided to quit taking in clothing alterations. And that was the Bay Area. I moved to Solano County, and a few years after I lived in Solano County, I retired from my job. And, um, being retired on a fixed income, you don't have that much money. So I said, you know what? I need to make some extra money. I got this sewing skill. And I'm going to make it the right way this time. I'm going to uh, get my business license. So I went downtown and I got my business license, my permit that was required by the city and by the county. I got that. I had some business cards made up, some very professional business cards made up. And I went to the newspaper company and I put in an ad um, about my business. And I realized, I said, wow, I'm the only one that have an ad regarding sewing. That's pretty good then. I don't have no competition. And so people started calling me. They seen my ad in the paper, and people were just so thrilled that somebody had a home-based sewing business. And they thought that seeing that it was in my home that I was going to be really cheap. And I still didn't have the confidence in how to charge people. So I was really charging low. I was getting a lot of customers and I was getting burnt out again. I said, wow, what did I get myself into? I want a business. I know I can do it, but I just don't know how to charge people. I think I might charge too much and lose customers. I just don't know what to do. So I started um, taking classes on the internet regarding sewing, how to update my sewing skills and to uh, work faster in my sewing skills, to improve my sewing skills. So I signed up for various internet sewing classes. That helped me a lot. I um, went to the library, did a lot of research on home based sewing businesses and how successful people became successful. And I also went to the bookstores and bought books. I just did a lot of reading. And let's see, I said, I am not going to be afraid of charging people because I am really worth a lot. I realized that the clothing alteration business is really in demand, and people want to look good, and they want good customer service. People are willing to drive long distance just for good customer service. I know I do. That's very important, and I don't mind paying a little extra for good service and for good quality work. And I know I'm good. And so, and I bought some ink pens with my business information engraved on the ink pen so I can give to my clients and also my future clients. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh, make sure I got thank you notes. So after I complete a client's garment, I tried within 2 weeks to send a thank you note to let them know how appreciative I was for them to use my services. And I make sure that I contact my clients during the Christmas season to send out Christmas cards. And I'm thinking about maybe inserting a coupon um, for the next alteration that they get from get with me. And I just know that God has blessed me, but I had to go through some obstacles. I gave up a few times because I really didn't know. People were taking advantage, like they considered me as doing this as a hobby. And I had to let them know, no, this is a business, and I have to pay taxes with my business, and so that's another reason I have to charge a little bit more. But my work is good, my work is fast, and I treat them very, very good when they come for my service. And don't be afraid. You are going to have some obstacles trying to start a business, but it's well worth it. You can set your own hours and you can select who you want to serve. Thank you. Bye bye.